Good morning, kids! I'm Teacher Lance and I'll be your teacher for today and for the rest of the semester. Today we're going to study mathematics and we will discuss number patterns. Last week, we discussed the first part of number patterns, which is the counting up. Remember, number patterns can be done in two ways. The first one is counting up and the second one is the counting down. Last week, we discussed about counting up. When you say counting up, we will begin from the small number and then it will be increased as the pattern goes on. As we can see here, we have 4, 8, 12, 16. So this is a pattern of counting up by 4s because in every number, it increases with number 4 or we add 4 in every number. Okay, another example is we have 50, 100, 150, 200, and 250. This is a pattern of counting up by 50s, okay? So now we're going to discuss the counting down. When you say counting down, we will begin with a big number and then it will be smaller and smaller as the pattern continues. For our example, we have 18, 15, 12, 9, and 6. As we can see here, 18 became 15. Therefore, it is a counting down by 3s because 18 minus 15 is equal to 3. Another example is 225, 200, 175, 150, and 125. So what happened in this pattern? It is a counting down by 25 because every time there is a decrease in 25, there is a decrease in number by 25. Alright, now we are going to do our activity. So I want you to open your book to page 34. Here we are going to identify the counting down of each pattern. Here we're going to identify or we're going to find out what is the counting down of each pattern. Okay, for example, in number 1, we have the numbers 30, 25, 20, 15, and then 10. So, in order to find out what is the counting down of each pattern, we have to subtract two consecutive numbers first. So, we're going to choose 15 and 10, okay? So, 15 minus 10 is equal to what number? Okay, of course, it's going to be 5. So, 15 minus 10 is equal to 5. Therefore, the counting down of this pattern is counting down by 5s. So, we will simply write counting down by 5s, okay? So, let's go to number 2. For the number 2, we have 238, 234, 230, 226, and 222. So, to find out the counting down of this number pattern, we have to subtract two consecutive numbers. So, we can choose 226 and 222. So, 226 minus 222 is equal to what number? So, we're going to subtract. So, 222, 223, 224, 225, and 226. So, 226 minus 222 is equal to 4. Therefore, the counting down of this pattern is counting down by 4s. So, let's go to number 3. For the number 3, we have the numbers 600, 550, 500, 450, and 400. So what is the counting down relationship of this pattern? So we're going to pick two consecutive numbers. So we have here 450 and 400. So we're going to subtract the two numbers. So 450 minus 400 is equal to 50. Alright, and then we're going to write 50. The counting down of this number pattern is 50s. Counting down by 50s. Alright? Can you follow so far? Alright, so let's go to number 4. For the number 4, we have the numbers 2,000, 1,975, 1,950, 1,925, and 1,900. So to find out the counting down relationship, we have to subtract two numbers. So we have here 1,925 and 1,900. So 1,925 minus 1,900 is equal to 25. Therefore, the counting down relationship of this pattern is counting down by 25s. Alright, very good, kids. Since we're done with the first activity, we're going to have another activity that can also be found in page 34. So for this activity, we're going to write the next numbers of each number pattern with a counting down by 25s, okay? So the pattern that we're going to use is counting down by 25. So we will subtract 25 to the numbers again and again. Okay, so the first number that we have for the number 1 is 350. So we're going to subtract 25 from 350. So it will be 325. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to subtract 25 from the last number. So 325 minus 25 will be 300. And then 300 minus 25 will be 275. And then 275 minus 25 will be 250. Therefore, we have the pattern 350, 325, 300, 275, and 250 for the item number 1. Alright, so now we can go to the item number 2. So we have here 542. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to subtract 25 from it. So 542 minus 25 is 517. And then again, minus 25. So 517 minus 25 will be 492. Alright? And then minus 25 will be 467. And then minus 25 again, it will be 442. Therefore, the pattern that we have will be 542, 517, 492, 467, 442. So that is the pattern for the number 2. Now let's go to number 3. For the number 3, the given number is 2,275. So this is the given number. We're going to subtract 25 from it. So 2,275 minus 25 is 2,250. And then 2,250 minus 25 is 2,225. And then 2,225 minus 25 is 2,200. And then minus 25 will be 2,175. Therefore, the pattern that we have here is 2,275, 2,250, 2,225, 2,200, and 2,175. Alright? So let's go to the next activity. So for the next activity, we're going to write different number patterns with the counting down by 50s. Okay, so here we're going to write our own pattern. Okay, we have the first given 4,500. Okay, the pattern will be counting down by 50s. That means that we're going to subtract 50 from the number again and again. Okay, so 4,500 minus 50 is, of course, it will be 4,450. And then we're going to do the same thing. 4,450 minus 50 is 4,400. Okay? And then 4,400 minus 50 is 4,350. And then 4,350 minus 50 is 4,300. So we can continue this pattern up to the number 2 item, but also we can have our own pattern into it. Okay? So Teacher Lance chose to continue the pattern. So the first number is 4,250. 4,250 minus 50 is 4,200. Minus 50 is 4,150. Minus 50 is 4,100. Minus 50 is 4,050. So therefore, we have the pattern 4,250, 4,200, 4,150, 4,100, and 4,050. Alright, so for the number 3, we can also choose to continue the pattern, and also we can have our own pattern. So Teacher Lance did the same pattern. So the first number that we can have is 4,000, and then minus 50, 3,950, minus 50 is 3,900, minus 50 is 3,850, minus 50 is 3,800. Alright? Okay. So that is all for today. Today we studied the number patterns. We continued the topic that we have discussed last week. But now we discuss the counting down pattern. So last week we studied the counting up patterns, but now we studied the counting down patterns. So what is the difference between them? Counting up means we're going to begin from a small number and it will be increased more and more as the pattern goes on. While in the counting down, we will begin with a big number and then it will decrease or it will go lower as we continue the pattern. That's all for today. I hope that you learned something from Teacher Lance, and also I hope that you enjoyed this class. Bye bye, God bless, and happy learning.